Hey sprinters, it's Janae here to brighten, enlighten, and ignite your day. Week 3, the power of attention. Day 17, mindset. We've talked a lot about mindset beliefs. This is so important because General Patton said, you must be single-minded. Drive for the one thing on which you have decided. The single-mindedness of focus. I mean, imagine we're in a race on the track. We have one lane, we have one purpose, to win the race and to run as fast as we can. That is the power of a single-mindedness of focus. And for me, doing this sprint, that has been a single-minded focus. My number one goal is to get this sprint done from creation to completion. And for you, it's to create your number one goal from creation to completion. That should be your singleness of focus. Of course, there's life, and there's a lot of things that we have to imagine, but any space, any time and energy left over needs to be on this track to get it done. So there's 3 role models that I would like to study, and then the 1, 2, 3 will be in alignment from what we can learn from each of these role models. Okay, so number 1, I want to share with you Joel Osteen. He has a book called Break Out, which I'll have a link for you there. 5 keys to go beyond your barriers and live an extraordinary life. In this book, it's all about how do you break out and break through. But I think what is so powerful about Joel Osteen and the amazing ability that he's been to grow his church and following is he is all about mindset. I would say 80% of what he talks about is mindset. And there's oftentimes, I just want to listen to his podcast to hear his mindset, because no matter what I'm going through, it's like he has this great way that he can just turn it, and that I can think of things differently. So just in this, listen to some of what these chapters are. The first is the mindset, believe bigger. That's part 1. In order to do that, get ready for a shift. A flood is coming. You're gonna go further, faster, explosive blessings. Increase your capacity to receive. Believe bigger. He's helping us to prepare for this mindset to know a flood of blessings that God has for us are coming down. And then, then he has, have unshakable faith, be confident in your future. Remember about the power of believing, keep the right perspective, stay in the game. There's just a ton of things that I'll be referring to, some more key information here, but the most important for here is a mindset is to believe bigger. So your one and done is, what can you do around your number one goal to expand it to believe bigger? How can you expand it to believe bigger? So for me, doing this sprint, it's just, I'm not just doing the sprint for now. I believe bigger in the future potentiality of it. And that's what keeps me going times when I feel like, is it worth it? Is anybody really interested in this program? So we have to expand to believe bigger. So Joel Osteen was our number 1. Let's look at number 2, being Tony Robbins. I would say he is a master at this. And we mentioned, especially in power of intention, a little bit of integration, the idea of he has 3 steps to breakthrough. The first is story. Okay, that was the first one I introduced. He actually says you need to start with your state. And that's what this is all about, is your state. So to have a mindset, you have to have the right state. And state isn't just in your mind, it is your physical body. So if you've ever seen him speak or prepare, he is so physical. He just gets in that state. So there's just, it's flowing out of him. And he says, in the morning he primes his pump and he thinks of and feels deeply 3 things that he's grateful for, which we talked about the day before. And then he gets in that physical state for the 3 things or the one thing that's most important that he wants to accomplish. and he thinks it and he feels it and he gets into the physical state as if it is already completed. So that's what your number 2 is to get into that physical state, to be good for you, of like, this is what it feels like to be in that mindset of it's done. I've already achieved my goal. I've lost the weight. I've saved the money. I've started that new venture. I've, mended relationships. Whatever it is that you have your capacity to believe bigger around your number 1 goal, is you need to get into that state as if it is already done and it's happening. Our third expert to share is Carol Dweck, I believe, and she is a Stanford psychologist. She wrote the book Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. And I took notes on her book because this was really powerful. And so she studied the power of mindset. And what led her into this is because she was what is considered a fixed mindset person versus a growth mindset person. Now, when you're a fixed mindset person, and I'll give you some traits and characteristics, so you might want to write both of these down if you haven't already read the book or heard about her work. But a fixed mindset means, it's as good as we get. We're naturally talented, or we have a fixed level of success that we can just tap into. So some of the things that she talks about people who have fixed mindsets, belief that it's static. It tests and tells your future ability. So when you take an IQ test, boom, there's your future. Trying to prove over and over again that they're superior social because, you have a fixed thing to live up to. Fear of trying and failing is hard. Effort is only for people with deficiencies. So, if we have this fixed mindset and we're experts, we shouldn't have to try over and over again or work so hard. Setbacks can be devastating. She uses an example, of different people in different industries. One that we might all remember is tennis pro John McEnroe. He had a very fixed mindset. He knew he was good, right? But whenever there was a chance to improve, he blamed it on something or somebody else. And that's the idea of a fixed mindset, is because it's not me to get better, it's something else that needs to improve or wasn't in the right reason, okay? So a growth mindset is the opposite. Growth mindset says, believe that your mindset can keep improving. You stretch beyond what is impossible. Failure is just part of the process. It's not just about the outcome, but what you learn along the way. Michael Jordan, is an example that he just continued to train harder and harder because he had a fixed mindset. He knew he was good, but he knew that he could always get better. You want to change, you want to go, you want praise, and you're growing, and your skills are always learning. So this fixed mindset and growth mindset can make a big difference, and we might be measured one way or the other. But yet when we're ready to grow and know that we can always look for rooms to improve and ways to improve, but to know that we are good enough, there's just ways we can get better. And when we fail, it's just ways that can help us grow more. So mindset matters. And 3 is key, is to create, what is your growth mindset plan? Think about the ways maybe you've had more of a fixed mindset, and what can your growth mindset be to help you catapult into your future success. So for Mind Over Matter, and from my heart to yours, be love.